You got 3 hours to join the HOA or we'll evict you. That's what the woman in the gray suit told me, standing on my porch like she owned a mountain under my boots. At the end of my driveway, 3 black luxury SUVs idled, engines humming low, headlights slicing through morning fog like wolves waiting for her command. I took a slow sip of my coffee, met her eyes, and said calmly, "Lady, I built this place before your HOA even existed." 3 hours, she repeated. 3 hours before they tried to take everything I'd built. Right then and there, I made her a promise. They weren't leaving my mountain the same way they came up. So let me ask you something. If a fake HOA showed up at your door, waving threats and forged documents, trying to take your land, would you back down or would you stand your ground? Go ahead, think about it. Not everyone has steel in their spine these days. I used to think things like this only happen in movies. That kind of crazy didn't belong in real life. But that illusion cracked the very morning they showed up. For 47 years, I've watched the sunrise from this deck. Same routine, coffee in hand, listening to my granddad's old rooster crow from the coop he built back in '38. Up here, there used to be a peace that sank deep into your bones. The kind that makes you forget how ugly the world can get. Until 3 black BMWs start crawling up your switchback road at dawn. Polished bumpers, city people behind the wheel, folks who wouldn't know a dirt road from a dirt nap. My hand instinctively moved to where my sidearm used to rest. Old habit. 25 years wearing a badge doesn't just fade away. But these weren't armed suspects. No, these were lawyers. And let me tell you, sometimes lawyers are even worse. 12 of them stepped out like it was some corporate retreat. Leading them was that woman, mid-50s, hair pulled so tight it looked like it could snap steel, dressed in a suit darker than a thunderstorm. She didn't wait for an invitation, just marched straight up my steps, her little entourage following behind. 2 men in navy suits, a skinny lawyer clutching his briefcase like it was a life raft, a couple of so-called security guards scanning my property like they already owned it. Then she laid it all out, stacks of paperwork, compliance notices, HOA membership orders, environmental reports, the whole circus. The numbers were outrageous. 50 grand just to join, another 25 for infrastructure, penalties that could wipe out a year's pension in one hit. 3 hours to pay, she said, cool as ice, or we relocate you, like she'd done this before. But old habits die hard, and my cop instinct started spotting holes before she even finished talking. Letterheads were off. Signatures didn't match any county official I'd ever known. The paper itself, too cheap for government use. Expensive fakes, but still fakes. I set my mug down slow, making sure she saw I wasn't rattled. "Ma'am," I said, "I've lived here since '78, paid my taxes every year. There's never been any Homeowners Association up here. Nearest neighbor's 2 miles through the trees. So what exactly are we associating about?" The lawyer, Knox, never gave a first name, looked down, shuffled papers, avoided eye contact when I asked for his bar number. Real lawyers love showing credentials. Fake ones? They dodged the question. While Ms. Payton kept delivering her rehearsed speech about community standards, I noticed one of the guards drifting off toward the trees. He clipped a small device onto a branch. It blinked once, then went dark. Surveillance. I'd bet my retirement on it. The whole act was sloppy. Guards checking their watches. Peyton glancing at notes scribbled on her palm. Knox dropping his briefcase. Twice. These weren't professionals. They were desperate. And desperate people do dangerous things. So I let the silence stretch, just to see who'd break first. You know, I finally said, in my experience, people who give ultimatums usually can't back them up. Real government officials don't work on 3-hour deadlines. Knox's face turned red. One of the guards stepped forward like he wanted trouble, but Peyton shut him down with a look. Then she leaned in close. Perfume mixed with something sharper. "Panic. You have until noon," she whispered. "After that, your options get limited." Then they left. Tire tracks carved into my drive, footprints by the gate, and that little surveillance bug blinking in the trees. The silence came back, but it wasn't peaceful anymore. It crackled with tension. Once they were gone, I walked the property like I used on the job. Slow, Careful, watching everything. That device wasn't hidden well. There were fresh tire marks near the fence. Trampled grass where someone had been watching. Marks on my mailbox. This wasn't their first visit. They'd been planning. A drone buzz overhead, circling the valley. That's when I knew this wasn't ending with fake paperwork. First thing I did was fire up my laptop and check county records. Green Valley Mountain Estates never existed. No HOA. No permits. Nothing. I called the county clerk. Got confirmation. Sir, she said, there's no approved development anywhere near your property. Someone's lying to you. I dug deeper. Checked the documents again. Serial numbers didn't match. Watermarks were wrong. Seals were printed instead of embossed. Whoever made these had equipment, but not the know-how. Time to call in backup. I reached out to Landon Cross, my old partner's son, sharp attorney. He listened, took notes, then said, Uncle Garrett, this is organized land fraud. Turns out the HOA's listed address was a vacant office. Utility bills paid just to keep up appearances. Then we found something else. Back in the 70s, surveys hinted at minerals on my land. Nothing big back then, but times change. Technology improves. Maybe now, those rocks were worth something. Suddenly, it all made sense. That night, things escalated. Internet started glitching. Phone lines filled with static. Self-service dropped. Even my old police scanner picked up interference. Then I found the graffiti. Legal occupant spray-painted across my gate. Fresh. While I'd been making calls, they'd been back on my property. Watching. Testing. More footprints. This time near the water tank. Scratches on the lid. A chemical smell in the air. I tested the water. Contaminated with red dye. A warning. Or a threat. Next morning, nails were scattered across my driveway. Every tire on my truck. Gone. Subtle, right? Later that day, a new SUV showed up. EPA logos this time. Inspection team. Same lies. Better props. Fines. Threats. Pressure to sign. But the IDs were fake. Wrong badge numbers. Altered photos. When I called him out, Knox tried to shut me down with some emergency protocol nonsense. One guard stepped closer. Hand near his jacket. Weapon visible. That's when I went cold. Told him to back off. Peyton didn't move. Eyes hard as stone. But I saw it, that flicker. Doubt. And then I saw it. A map slipped from her case during the commotion. Geological surveys. Marked with red excess. Estimated values. Millions. They weren't after my house. They were after what was under it. Gold. That's why they were pushing so hard. After they left, Landon and I went straight to the county. We found mineral rights filings with my forged signature. Rejected, but still on record. State officials showed us more. Fake applications. Fraudulent permits. This wasn't new. 3 other property owners had already disappeared. Homes auctioned. Land stripped. Some signed under pressure. Others after accidents. This operation was bigger than me. Organized. Ruthless. We started building a case. Landon filed emergency injunctions. Restraining orders. Fraud claims. I set up cameras. Mics along public roads. Tracked everything. Then the breakthrough came. A real EPA agent showed up. Harrison. Credentials checked out. He told us they'd been tracking this group for months, but needed someone willing to stand up. That someone was me. So we played along. Set up a meeting. I acted like I was ready to sell. Peyton offered $500,000 on the spot, but her tone was all threat. Sign or disappear into red tape. The way she talked about other owners, like they were nothing. But the feds were listening. Recording everything. Next morning, they moved in. FBI. Real EPA. The whole operation. Peyton and her crew didn't stand a chance. Cuffed. Taken down. Their empire collapsed in under an hour. They tried to bribe their way out. Tried to bluff. Didn't matter. The law had finally caught up. Cleanup took weeks. Lawsuits took longer. But standing on my porch again, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise over my land, it was worth it. Funny thing, about a month later, Peyton made bail and tried again. New crew. Same tricks. But this time, the feds were ready. Surveillance. Helicopters. They arrested her right there on my driveway. I'll never forget her expression. Not fear, just cold fury that someone like me dared to stand in her way. In the end, the courtroom was packed. Media, victims, agents. Knox turned witness. Exposed everything. Every bribe, every scam, every ruined life. The verdict? Guilty. Over and over again. Peyton got 25 years. Knox got 15. Their network? Wiped out across 3 states. The land is healing now. Neighbors are coming back. And for the first time in months, the sunrise feels like hope again. People ask me if I do it all again. Simple answer. Sometimes, the only thing standing between what's right and a pack of wolves is one stubborn old man who refuses to back down. So what about you? If it was your land, your life's work, would you stand your ground, or would you let them take it? Think about it. Because out here where the road ends, that's where the real fight begins.